West Tigers fans, our boys, they went to the eighth wonder of the world looking for 4 in a row. They came up against the league-leading Melbourne Storm. They put up a fight. They had a great lead. They just could not get it done. Let's review another West Tigers game on another episode of the WestsLife Podcast. Welcome in to another episode of the WestsLife Podcast. I am your host, Josh Barnett. At WestsLife Pod on Instagram and Twitter, please give us a follow if you haven't yet. And of course, as I say every episode, either in the link on those profile pages or at westtigers.com.au, you will find the page where it will send you to absolutely everything that we do, including our Patreon, patreon.com/WestsLife. Shouts to all the guys and girls in the Patreon and in the Discord who love interacting. Plenty of swear words and lots of passionate posting, as you can imagine, on Saturday night going through the Discord. And please subscribe on YouTube if you haven't yet. Shouts to all of our YouTubers as they come in. Shane's here, Brandon's here, Mark's here, Teddy Brooks is here, coming from Bali. Good on you, Teddy. Have some bintangs for us while you're there listening to the WestsLife Podcast. Phil Rogers coming in from England, all over the world. Where's Riff from Miami? Where the show of the world, it seems. Mr. Thompson, how are you this evening?
Yeah, g'day Josh, g'day Rob, g'day everyone watching and listening. It seems like the WestsLife Podcast is going global now, which is pretty bloody awesome.
It is. So
I'm pretty good tonight,
We're basically the Joe Rogan experience, basically.
I'm pretty good tonight, mate. Obviously, disappointing loss on the weekend, which we'll get into, but still got a lot of faith in this team, plus the signings coming in next year, that there are good times ahead.
Yeah, got to keep faith. Coming in from the Red Room just in the nick of time with his West Tigers member scarf around his neck. Mr. Bashara, how are you this evening?
I'm well, boys. Good evening to everyone out there and to you guys. I hope you're all well. Just recovering from the loss like you guys. It was a pretty entertaining game, but we'll get into it shortly.
Yep, the three of us sat in the Latcham Robinson stand. Yeah, plenty of emotion flying, plenty of, fingernails are lost, and it was a roller coaster of a game. We'll get into it in a second, but of course it's Monday night, so we will tell you about our friends at Mobile Corp. Mobile Corp, they are a proud sponsor of the WestsLife Podcast. In its early days, it was a major sponsor of the Balmain Tigers and the West Tigers. For all your business IT needs, from cloud-based telephony, security, desktop support, or anything Microsoft, reach out to our friends at Mobile Corp. You can do that at their website, mobilecorp.com.au. Mention you're a listener of the WestsLife Podcast, because they've been a great supporter of us for a couple of seasons now. Love the guys at Mobile Corp. Thank you again to Mobile Corp. And let's get straight into this game. So 40-28, 12-point margin in the end. I got a few notes. I don't have, I won't go try by try because fuck me, there's 12 tries to go through and we'd be here all night. I do have a few notes. We'll go through it, chronologically. So we'll start at the start. And straight away, I get to mention my guy, Sean Bloor, who had a few, I wouldn't say he had a blinder. He had a few contributions in the game, but his first contribution was quite funny. He was penalised on our first set as he was, I believe, checking Stefano's head as he, in a tackle, he got penalised for being too nice, Rob. That's what Sean got penalised for, and I love him for it.
Look, Sean was solid. He didn't do anything special, but he did his role. He had wasn't a star performance, but he certainly didn't do anything wrong. It's nice of him not to have a blinder against us.
And we'll go fast forward because not much of a note that, but the first 10 minutes I didn't note as that the boys, they're throwing the ball around. There was, I know, Rob, you were running late, so you missed quite an entertaining first 10 to 12, basically 12 minutes till Charlie Staines' try. The boys were, throwing the ball around and looked up for it as.
Yeah, they were. It was really good to see that they were trying to be a little bit expansive with it. I think that was probably a bit of the game plan. Try throw it around, try pass it around, see what we could do to potentially try and crack the Storm line, because they haven't been infallible this year as they have in previous years. But it was really good to see. There were some really positive signs in those first 10 minutes. I don't remember if we made any mistakes in the first 10 minutes, but overall I thought we were looking pretty solid.
Yeah, they're throwing the ball down around nicely. The first set, though, straight after the try, it looked like a clear strip from the Storm on Appy. The touchy had a great view of it there, and then the Storm get back-to-back sets, and we can't cover down the left edge. And just like that, Rob, the Storm equalised and, basically erased that nice little start from us straight away.
Yeah, it's pretty much a cardinal sin in rugby league if you don't complete your first set after scoring a try. And it was a beautiful try to Charlie Staines, set up by Appy and Caesar, both digging into the line, creating space. Look, I saw what you said about the strip. There were definitely two in the tackle. I don't know if it's a clear strip, but look, they scored, and I just thought, like, we're sick of hearing the phrase, the effort was there, but like, I just thought this was one of the few times that I've seen a West Tigers team not be super resilient in defence. I just felt like whenever the Storm needed yardage or needed to get downfield, they did it with ease. But to add to what Aaron said, I haven't seen us play so expansively and create so many chances. It's one thing being in the red zone, which we always are, but we had so many chances, like you said, in the first 10 minutes. I mean, Buller got a ball. I mean, he probably took the safe option and held it, but if he just let it go real quickly, I'm pretty sure Fata Ape would have scored in the left-hand corner in the second minute. But so many chances created. And I actually rewatched the first 15 minutes of the game because, as you guys know, I got to the game late due to being hooked on the previous game, which was Golden Point with the Bulldogs in New Zealand. I didn't leave home till that finished. I just couldn't believe how well we were playing in terms of what we were doing with the ball, creating space, making good meters. And it's just a pity we didn't capitalise, because we could have easily had 5 or 6 tries in the first half, and we ended up with 2.
Straight after that, after the kickoff, Appy basically did the same thing in terms of a strip, and got penalised for it. So whatever. But luckily the kick for touch didn't find touch. Adam Dway here kept his boots inside the line and then flicked it back inside. We get a set restart after that, and Fanua Bole, a beautiful little left foot step to go over next to the post. Man, he's finding some form. Bole is right now, as it was a beautiful try. Little jink back off his left foot. Looked very, very agile, the big fella.
Yeah, a lot of people have been giving Fanua a lot of raps so far this season. He's been one of our more consistent players, and he's playing quite well. Bit underrated in that regard. But that was a really nice try. And just going back to that penalty kick not finding touch, it's one of those things that doesn't seem to ever go our way. We've been in a few instances where we've been the one who've kicked for touch and it hasn't gone out. Brooks, I think, has been responsible for at least a few of those in his time.
Benji used to do them occasionally too.
I also remember a couple from Brooks that have gone backwards from the point of the from the point of the penalty. But it was really good to see that they worked hard. Like, obviously they still had a little bit to do to get to their line. I think it took us 4 or 5 tackles to get there, but really, really good effort there from Fanua.
Yeah, Rob, what are your thoughts on Fanua Bole? We will always talk about Steph, but this guy's off contract. look, I think he needs to be part of the future. It'd be one we don't want to let go.
Look, I think Saturday night's game, I wouldn't say I'm the biggest Bolle fan, but I would say that was his best game he's played for the club. And, I didn't go to confession yesterday, boys, but I will publicly say what I told you guys privately last week after one of our podcasts. I said, I don't know what all the raps are for Bolle, and geez, I think I need to privately knock a few more of our players because he was absolutely outstanding. Obviously scored a try, which is fine, but I mean, he did so many hit-ups, so much yardage he created. I think he had something like 7 line breaks. Didn't even miss a tackle in the whole game, 21 tackles, none missed. So you couldn't have asked for a better effort. And just when we needed it too, because a few of the other forwards weren't exactly in the best form in the world, especially defensively.
So after that 16-minute mark, Adam Doueihi straight up the middle, finds a bit of space, shows some pace. Yeah, like he did against Canberra a couple of weeks ago. He had support, had Buller on his left, and he goes to the right and has the ball knocked out. Man, a try right there, I think, changes the game. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember this play in particular? Adam goes straight up the middle, and I was just thinking, you basically could have put Buller under the post, I reckon, but he just decided to pin the ears back and go right. Just one of those sliding doors moments.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where it really could have gone either way. Obviously, it would have been nice if he had seen. Maybe he didn't know Buller was there on the inside. Maybe there was a little bit of a lack of communication. We'll never know. But in saying that, if he saw Buller, it would have been great because Buller was home and hosed if he went away. But yeah, instead Adam decided to go streaking for the corner and unfortunately didn't quite make it. And yeah, a chance goes begging and a potential 18-6 lead stays at 12-6.
Yeah, he definitely saw the support, guys. He had not only Buller, he had Galvin there. He definitely saw the support. I think he just made that split-second decision. I'm going to the right myself because if you do remember the play, I mean, obviously that came out of nothing. Like we basically had a play where we were going backwards, and Adam got handed the ball and he went straight up the middle and created a hole. And I think Buller. And he didn't have proper support there. So,
we just lost your audio there for a bit.
Yeah, Rob, sorry, mate. Someone
you got a phone call.
Yeah, got a phone call, and I
just say it again.
I was just going to say that I think Buller and Galvin were probably 8 to 9 meters behind him at the time, and it was just a split second decision that he decided to go on his own. And yeah, in hindsight, if he could have maybe just slowed up towards Pappenhausen and threw an inside ball, again, we'll never know, but. It was a judgment call, and in hindsight, it's easy to say he made the wrong call, but he made the wrong call. But Adam, I thought, played a really good game, and it was
of course, yeah,
pretty heady play, as you guys said earlier, to save that ball in a touch the way he did. So, not knocking Adam, but it's just one of those things, and didn't happen.
Oh yeah, we're fans of Adam Doueihi in this show, that is for sure. About 8 minutes later, Lockie did a little grubber kick. It's knocked on by Hughes. Man, another one here on the replay. I didn't notice this live because you need binoculars to see the tiny little 52-inch screen they have at Leichhardt Oval from where we sit in the Latcham Robinson. But yeah, if Hughes doesn't get his hand on this one, it pops up absolutely perfect for Olam here. And we handed the ball. Manamula dropped the ball not long after the next set that we got. They make a break through Wishart. Buller stops it, but then Pappenhausen cooks Justin Olam and scores. So basically, yeah, it could have been 18-6, and it ends up being 12-10. I think it was 12-10, 12-all, 12-10. It was 2 tries apiece, basically, and we could have been up by 2 tries, Rob.
Yeah, look, that was as you said, Olam's in for sure if Lockie could just get that kick through the legs properly. There was no one there. He definitely dives on the ball and scores. Really disappointing that Wishart made that break from inside, basically, 15 metres out from his own line. It was just a rubbish dummy that he threw, and it shouldn't have been fallen for. And that's the thing. We had a lot of guys that played really, really well, but everyone had a mistake or two that was really costly. And that was one of them where they, as you said, Wishart marched down the field. I think he gave it to Anderson, and Buller made a beautiful tackle. And the way Buller sort of jockeyed with Wishart, like not committing himself to it, just to give some of our defenders a chance to come back and support. So then he could make that tackle. Ultimately was really heady play from Buller, but eventually it was to no avail. And a couple of tackles later, Pappenhausen scored, and unfortunately it was all too easy. Our left edge was quite terrible in defence most of the night.
Yep, and that happened again about 3 minutes later. I think it was basically the next set. Yeah, Jerome Hughes had spiders on him. Yeah, goes down the left edge, and it puts Warbrick over as well. Yeah, Seyfarth did the grabby grab hands on when he was coming through on cover. It looked like he should have had him. Yeah, not good. That just like that 16-12, we're behind, and we could have been up 2 tries. It really was like the scoreline. Yeah, we conceded 40, but the best way to stop tries being scored is, I think, to score them and to be up to have the ball and be up 2 tries. As it's just watching this first half back, just so frustrating. We really could have won this game.
Yeah, we really could have, and that is the disappointing and frustrating thing, as you said. That try there that was scored through Warbrick had me extremely nervous, because what we did there was the exact same thing we did against the Roosters last week, where we just they scored a try and then we just let them first set after points get through our line, get us for numbers off a couple of plays and score again immediately afterwards, and had me a little bit worried that we could have potentially been in for a bit of a long night. And it's just those defensive lapses that always just seem to cost us.
Yep. 34th minute, Fatape gets a nice little ball from Olam, and he's pulled up Pappenhausen. I swear to God, Pappenhausen, there was talk before the game that he might have been, sat for another week. Dead set, like stopping the try here and for Tape. Like there was a lot of moments. He obviously scored one himself. He was very good in this game, Rob. If he doesn't play in this one, like I don't know, he changes completely the course of history. But man, he did a lot. He did a lot to stop us from winning this one, and he did in this instance.
That was that was great play by us, and also obviously a great tackle by Pappenhausen. Yeah, you would have liked Farlongo to be a fullback and try and make that tackle. I think Fatape probably scores there, but just to focus on the positive there, guys, it was a really good heady play from Galvin. Took the line on, threw a face ball to Olam, who threw a nice pass to Fatape. To be fair, I think maybe Fatape, instead of trying to run over him a la Jonah Lomu, if he just kind of goes for the corner a bit more, I think it's a bit harder for Pappenhausen to make that tackle. But I think Fatape backed himself and thought he could run over the top of him, and it didn't turn out to be the case. And that was just yet another opportunity that went begging in the first half. And I really think we should have had a lot more to show for it.
And then only a few minutes later, we got a penalty. What have I got here? Falongo comes on. It takes. That's right. We had the ball, and I can't remember which Storm player it was getting taken off, and we basically had to wait 2 minutes for this dickhead to limp off the field. And I don't understand why we get a penalty and yet we have to wait. Whatever, but. Yeah, and then we end up, Adam Duahi drops the ball and they play the ball. But one of those things that and he literally took so long. The Storm, they get their breath back and they get to hold on. I mean, it was an unforced error. They'd handed it over but just one of those annoying things that, you allow the opposition team to basically dictate, even though they've been penalised, to give themselves a rest and, whatever. Cheats, whatever.
Yeah, we made it really hard for ourselves there. Constant drop ball, just making silly mistake after silly mistake. When you've got good field position, you've got to try and capitalize on it. You can't do what we did and let the Storm get themselves, well, they were already in the game, but let themselves get back on top of the game. taking all the momentum from us just because we made a silly mistake dropping the ball right in front of the line.
So yeah, halftime we go in down 4. The boys still get a standing ovation from all of us in the grandstand, and everyone on the hill. I think we're thinking, look, down 4, but we're up for this. Possibly can win this, but 6 minutes into the second half, Tape misjudges a kick and takes out Warbrick from underneath him, and just like that, another sin bin. We're playing with 12. Grant Anderson scores not long after. Yeah, I've got the note here too. As Jenny informed me, Grant Anderson does this finger gun thing at the camera, and I think, what a wanker. But you informed me that it was a dry July something or other.
Yeah, so the NRL have reintroduced Try July for try celebrations. Sportsbet donate money to charity, and I forget what the charity is this year, but it's something to do with an ex-NRLW player, I think. But yeah, so they're donating money. So for every try celebration, money gets donated, and they do it for the whole month of July. So it's been in for the last 4 or so years, I think. But yeah, that's that one there. But yeah, that sin bin was really unfortunate. I've watched the replay of the incident, and I struggle to really believe how it was a sin bin, how it was a professional foul. Fatape gets over to the play, or where the ball's going to be. Probably should have been a bit more in the vicinity than he was, and then when he gets there, Anderson, was it Grant Anderson? Whichever Storm player it was.
Will Warbrick.
It was Warbrick, yeah, okay. Warbrick jumps basically over the top of him, kind of takes himself out, and the ball wasn't even there at him yet, and I think it was probably likely to go over the touch line anyway. So how they got a professional foul out of that, I'm absolutely baffled. But it's just more on this of the same when it comes to our discipline letting us down.
Rob, what are your thoughts on the sin bin? It's obviously the big talking point from this one.
If you deem that he wasn't going for the ball, you have to say it's a sin bin. From a ref's point of view, all it looks like is Fatape is just running at Warbrick to take him out. But I do agree with Aaron. Like, Fatape has the right to get in the vicinity of the ball, to at least like run there and then turn around and then jump for the ball. And he didn't even get that chance. So I don't know, maybe it might sound like we're both clutching at straws, but I think Aaron has got a point there. But that said, if you're reviewing it and you see, well, Fatape is not jumping at the ball, he's not in position, and he's taking the legs from under Warbrick, I mean, I can see why it was a sin bin also. And look, we'll get onto it later too, guys, but, we're going to have to discuss the selection of Fatape on the wing against Will Warbrick, because you mentioned that happened in a few minutes into the second half, Josh. I mean, a couple of sets earlier, the Storm marched the length of the field, basically from the kickoff, and Warbrick again outleapt Fatape, who had no chance of catching a ball, and we end up giving the ball out, just being a knock on, and Pappenhausen picking it up and claiming a try that ended up being ruled no try by the bunker. So it was just a mismatch all night. And obviously the Warbrick try in the first half, our left edge got torched as well. So I think we saw with Olam and Fatape against the Titans how poorly we defended in the first half of that game, and it just looked like that sort of replay all over again. So given who was available out of the wingers in Alamalo and Lob, I just found it a really strange decision to be playing a centre who's giving 6 inches away to his opponent on that wing. And at the end of the day, guys, yeah, the defense wasn't bad. We probably don't win regardless of who's on the wing in terms of how we defended, but that was the turning point of the game. Like, in hindsight, we're better off just letting Warbrick score and having 13 on 13 than for them to score 2 tries while we're down a man.
Or even if it was a penalty, a few people in the comments mentioning possible penalty try. In hindsight, a penalty try would have been better because they ended up scoring 2 tackles later anyway to cop 6 on the chin at that point, but keep 13 on the field, would have been actually better than losing a player for 12 minutes, because then and his try, I think it was about 8 minutes later. So it was getting almost towards the end of the 10-minute. But grab a kick, easy try for what's the little jockey-looking show on the wing? Farlongo. Yeah, easy little pick up on the wing. Charlie Staines was up out of the line, and it was simple footy. But I don't know if you could blame. I mean, that try, it wasn't on the wing that was short. Can you really? I know it changes everything, but could you blame that try on being a player short on the opposite side? Like it does.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Just because it doesn't mean we don't adjust or move another man to the other side. It just depends how quickly they shifted the ball. But your spacing is totally different with 12 and 13 players. Yeah, it's got to make a difference, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, so he comes back on. Anything else? Because obviously it's a big talking point of the game. Anything else to talk about that sin bin period, boys? Anything else? Like, how do you think we handled it?
I'd just like to say that the one time we did get in their red zone, I don't know if you remember this, Aaron, but the one time we did get in the red zone on the last play, Coruscant gives it to Aiden Caesar, and instead of putting a grubber kick and just trying to force a repeat set, take 30 or 40 seconds off the clock, we went for the Hail Mary play and tried to score a try. And I think Caesar threw the long ball out to Galvin, who tried to tap it on, and it went behind everyone. And that's when the Storm sort of marched up the field again. I just thought, okay, I know you're down by 10 points at the time, but just a little bit of composure and just say, hang on, let's just hang on for this period. And if we get a try, great. But if we don't get a try, let's just keep them down their end and make our life easier by defending them and trying to make them go 90 meters, as opposed to just trying to go for that try. And just, I don't know, I just thought it was a really bad choice. That's the one time you want to try and get a grubber kick in the in goal or force a repeat set. And we didn't do it. And that's at the hands of the experienced guy. That's on Aiden Caesar. And Aiden Caesar did a lot of great things in the game. Some great kicks, a try assist, a couple of nice tackles. But again, like I said, a lot of our really good players, including Appy, who I think was best on the field, they all made a mistake or two that seemed to be crucial through the game. And it's just one of those things. They all tried hard, but everyone had a turn at doing something wrong.
Well, not long after we had 13 back on the field, it was Caesar that did the nice little short ball for Lockie to get over basically untouched and that was the backline combination looked really good throughout the night. It just sucks that the defense didn't match it. But yeah, it's just you mentioned Caesar there. I'm pretty sure it was Caesar that threw the last pass to young Lockie to get over.
Yeah, it was nearly one of those Harbour Bridge type passes, wasn't it? It went a long way from to right close to near the sideline. And yeah, you're right. The backline movements were looking pretty good all night. We had some really good moments, along with some really soft moments in defence, but they looked promising at times. And I think that's probably the main thing I wanted out of the game, to see a lot more promise and potential in a lot of those, I guess, those sort of situations. And yeah, it was a really nice try by Charlie, capped off with a pretty nice dive down the sideline.
I think you're talking about Lockie's try, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm talking about Lockie's try. You've gone ahead a bit on me there.
Oh, Lockie's try, sorry.
Yeah. You got when you said Harbour Bridge pass, this was a little short ball.
I've completely blanked on Lockie's try.
Little short ball from Caesar. It went out the left side. Nice little short ball to put Lockie over. But after that, 5 minutes later, so how do you pronounce it again? Farlong. This is when he ran away. It's Farlongo. Ran away, picked up the ball off. Olam kicked it back inside, and I saw this from fucking 60 meters away, but the ref lets Farlongo run off when it clearly came off another Storm's hand forward, lets him run all the way, and it almost looked like the West Tigers players actually backed off and let him score here. And Rob, you said to me live when we were watching it, he should get tackled on purpose here, because if he does get tackled on purpose, the play rolls on. I don't know how three eyes on the field missed that. I saw that straight away and could not believe that the referee, who was about 6 meters from it, like missed that. Come on, man. Like,
yeah, it's all dependent on whether Farlongo saw that it was touched. Like if he saw it was touched, I mean, without making it too obvious, he should have just let someone run him down, and it would have been play on, and we would have been ruining the missing. But look, we don't seem to get. I'm not blaming the refs for this game, but you're talking about the strip on Appy, and you probably won't mention this in your notes. We had to use our challenge when Pappenhausen ripped the ball with 3 in the tackle, and the ref didn't see it. Like I just don't know, like how the ref can miss blatant strips like the one on Pappenhausen later, and that looked like it was. I don't know. From as soon as I saw it live, and like you said, from your seats, we're 50 meters away at least from that ball. But it was play on, and thankfully he did score, and justice was served.
Yeah. No, as soon as he scored, I'm like, oh, that'll come back for sure. So from there, luckily, because we went the other way. Sorry, not luckily, unluckily. Adam Dwyer is a few inches from scoring in the corner. It's a similar corner. Some might remember that Nofaluma scored against the Storm back in the day to seal the win, I believe. Was that against the Storm when he scored in that corner in the wet? I think it was Storm or Cowboys. They Storm scored in that corner, but the Keith Barnes stand corner. But anyway, he dropped the ball over the line. Wasn't really that close in the end. It looks, I mean, watching it live, we all went up and roared as if it was a try, but not really that close. But again, sliding doors moment, he does get that down. That makes it a 6-point game, or 4, it might possibly 4 if Appy can slot it from the sideline. Again, sliding doors moment again, Rob.
Look, I'm taking the positive out of a lot of the stuff Adam's doing. Adam looks really sharp. I know, like he couldn't quite reach the do the grounding properly for that try, but just everything he's doing, he just seems a step faster. And remember, guys, this is his 3rd game back.
Oh
in
yeah,
first
we love
grade.
Adam.
No, I'm not denying the love.
Yeah,
I'm just making a general observation that I think he's just looking really sharp. But he's doing a lot of good things in attack and defence, and it's just a shame he didn't score, as you said, and then for Melbourne to go up the other end. I mean, it just hurts. But we seem to have a lot of those moments the other night where we should have scored, and then they went down the other end of the field and they scored.
Yep, I think I've missed a note here because I think the Storm did score next, didn't they? Yeah, Wishart from dummy half scored not long after that, and that basically, that was the game was gone at that point. If it wasn't already, we had to score 2 tries with 14 to go. A 3rd try was the nail in the coffin, unfortunately.
Yeah, it really was, and it was just one of those tries where soft defense yet again, and they kind of just took advantage of it. It was an easy try for Wishart in the end, and like you said, the game was practically over from there. But it was good to see the team didn't give up; they kept fighting, and a little bit more happened in this one.
And then the Charlies 10 out of 10. If he took that dive to the Olympics next month, I reckon he would have got a 10 out of 10 for this dive, the one you were talking about earlier. So Rob, I'll let you talk about that one. I mean, the boys kept fighting. You got to be proud of the team that they could have put the what do you call it? The gun in the rack, I guess.
The Q in the rack.
Q in the rack, gun in the rack, whatever. They just kept fighting, the boys. They're not a team that lies down, and I'm surprised at this point too that Appy Coruscant was still on the field. Like, you think you might have taken him off and rested him, but be as it may, they kept having to crack the boys.
Well, I said to you a few minutes earlier, I said, boys, if the Storm get the next one, I'm going to take off early because I got a crook leg. And suddenly Stain scores, and like there's 12 minutes left, and we need 2 converted tries to win. So look, I just thought the positive with our attack. I loved how we played our style for a start. Like, I thought our style was really, really good. Obviously, there were some kicks that went dead in goal a couple of times and some poor execution, but you can just notice the difference with our backline plays when Caesar or Galvin dig into the line and they straighten it up. The knock I will have is you'll also see some backline movements where Caesar just goes sideways and he's just taking the room out of his support play, and there's just nothing on because he goes sideways. But the 2 times that Caesar dug into the line and put his body on the line and absorbed a hit from the opposition, we scored tries. So, Galvin does it all the time, but Aiden seems to go a little bit too sideways. So, that's just something I observed, and I just hope that we can learn from it, because Caesar seems to do that sideways stuff a little bit too much, and he's not doing his outside backs any favour. You're trying to create space. You're not trying to take space away from them. Just on a side note, guys, I just want to mention it was really good to see the Galvinator sign on the hill on Saturday night. So I'm glad the nickname's kicking on, and we got it rolling.
Yeah, you did point that out. After that, Falongo scored again. He basically cooked Heath Mason, who'd come on at that point and stepped inside Buller and scored. But a couple of minutes after that, a penalty goal because Appy brushed the fucking toenail of Jerome Hughes's boot. Yeah, luckily, someone mentioned in the comments, did Appy get suspended? No, he didn't, but I would have been pissed off if he did. I'm fucking sick of these. How I get it. The Papali'i last year against the Raiders, when he dives into the legs on a kicker, that is much worse, I think, than going across. If you're going across the line, not straight into the kicker and going in front of them, like the line of where they're going, it can't. I just don't understand. I get it's fucking rugby league. Like, I know we're trying to reduce injuries and that sort of thing, but if he's not running straight into the legs where you can get a broken leg, and he's going across the path and the momentum of the player carries him into the line of where he's going, he's trying to charge the ball down. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I'm glad it didn't end up in a suspension. It ended up being a penalty. But I'm just like, there's just so many grey areas in the game that they've made, and this is just one of them, as.
Yeah. And like Benji said in his press conference last week, more often than not, we seem to be on the wrong end of all these decisions that are, above all, just inconsistent. And I agree with you. What happened to Fogarty with Papali'i last year was so very much worse. And I've seen other instances of other dangerous tackles, or like lifting tackles or whatever, or like tackles where a player's landed on their back that have been a penalty, and others that haven't. I can't remember what the example was. Actually, Appy's tackle against the Roosters last week that got him sent to the sin bin. The Roosters player he tackled, I think it was Lindsay Collins. He didn't even end up above the horizontal, yet he was sin bin for it. Whereas, and like Lindsay Collins was not injured, nothing, like not even a hair out of place from that tackle. Compared that to Appy against the Broncos at Campbelltown earlier in the season, where he was slammed onto his back pretty bloody hard in a tackle. He ended up being winded. I think he didn't play out the rest of that game or something from that moment. And then he had to sit out the next game against the Bulldogs for like a pain management issue, because he wasn't able to breathe properly after that incident. And there was not even a penalty on that one. And that was almost a friggin' WWE wrestler move.
Yeah. So after that, the game kept going. After the penalty goal, we scored a try, nice little kick, a bit of a falcon off Kamika, and Buller chasing through. Dream Buller had a great game in this one, and a lot of people have been critical of Dream Buller's support play and that sort of thing. And that was one of those tries that, you make your own luck. It was a lucky ricochet that usually happens against us, but when you put yourself in a position to score those tries, and credit to Buller, it's the final minute and you're still looking for it, Rob. And I thought Dream had a great game for us.
That try was absolutely sensational. Like, you've only just mentioned the end of it. The lead-up play with the grubber kick across field, the pick-up from Charlie Staines, and then we kept the ball alive through so many pairs of hands. I think we deserve that little bit of good luck. So, no, it was a brilliant way to finish. Look, we keep saying it, the boys never stop trying. The effort's there. There's just, a couple of players, a little bit inexperienced, lacking a bit of class. They're still learning their craft. It's just frustrating, guys. It's frustrating because we've had 13 poor years in a row, and we want to be really competitive. We don't want our season over at this time of the year, and it's happened again. But there were a lot of positives in terms of, the style we played. I thought it was great. What do we have? 10,311 at the game. It was a really good night. The weather wasn't too bad in the end. It rained a little bit, but a lot of black, white, and orange around the crowd. It was a good atmosphere, and I just think that sin bin, when it happened, and then the Storm got those back-to-back tries, it really took the crowd out of the game, because in the first half, from the time I arrived, you could just feel the energy. Like there was just a real good feeling going on, good vibe, and just that sin bin just absolutely screwed it all.
It was last versus first in this game. Like, it was like we could have done it. We could have, it kills me. I went in this game. I tipped us in our preview on Wednesday night, and I felt like we had the firepower to do it. It's just those moments.
And
those
also
little
the guys they were missing too, Josh. Also the guys they were missing plenty, and they lost Big Nelson, close to 20 minutes into the game as well. So we can't complain about having players out or anything like that. They basically had half their team out.
Getting a little bit of a help Friday night too, which we'll preview Wednesday night. But on to your player rating. So Benji Marshall, people fairly happy there. Plenty of 7s and 8s and 6s in there. Not too many low scores for him. 110, 109. Some people really loved Benji in this one. What are your thoughts on Benji's overall coaching performance in this one, Rob?
Look, positives and negatives, guys. I just said it earlier. Happy with the style we played with. But I do think we got out-coached. I think you got to get your selections right. Now, people will say, Lob was having his first game back, and I'm not sure what Alamalo's problem was, but I just think it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when that was going to be exposed. And when you talk about getting out-coached, I mean, people say it's easy for me to sit in the lounge room and be critical, but let's just look at Melbourne for a sec. Melbourne brought on Farlongo onto the wing, and if you noticed, when we went to put a kick up or a kick through, Farlongo was standing one in, playing centre, and they put their tall guy, Grant Anderson, on the left wing. Like that, they just know, like you need a tall body on the wing, and they adjusted defensively, Melbourne, and we didn't. And you could point out too, like putting young Mason, like a lamb out for the slaughter in the centres from the scrum against one of the guys who's got the best steps in the game. It was an absolute mismatch. Look, they're only minor things, and the game was over then, but they're little things where, like, why couldn't we, swap? I mean, we should never have had two short blokes on the left anyway, in Olam and Fata Ape. But when we lost Fata Ape, Adam went to the wing, and you had a tall body there, and it's going to make a big difference. So I wasn't happy with the selection. I just think you got to sometimes pick horses for courses. And look, it's not a knock on Fata Ape; it's a knock on the selection. I thought when Fata Ape had the ball in hand, he ran the ball strongly, he tried hard, but he definitely has problem reading defence. He definitely has problems under the high ball, and he's never going to outleap Will Warbrick in any situation. So for style, I give Benji 9 out of 10. For if you're talking about defence, I'll probably give us 3 or 4, to be honest, out of 10. But in terms of selection, just getting that whole winger thing wrong really pissed me off, because I said to you last Wednesday, if Olam plays, I think we win. I never realised if Olam played that his choice of left winger, would be Fata Ape. I thought he would have gone with anyone else, one of the two guys I've mentioned, or Naden, or someone. I just thought it was a really unfair task to set Fata Ape.
Yep. Az, you got any takes on Benji at all?
No, Rob pretty much just summed it up.
Right, player ratings. So only 100% rating this week. That was Fanua Bole. He got 36 out of 36. Next highest was Dream. He got only two people decided not to tick Dream, which is crazy, but be as it may, that's what you guys said. And Charlie Staines, one less vote, so lots of people loving Charlie in this one, and they're not far behind Lockie Galvin and Arpi Coruscant. As any numbers there that shocked you, or any players you want to pull out and pick on or compliment at all?
I didn't actually expect Charlie to get as many votes as he did. You sent this through to us privately before the show started so we could have a bit of a look at it. And I saw Charlie there, and that was actually pleasantly surprising, I think, because a lot of the time Charlie's knocked for defensive performance and positioning, and I think he nailed a lot of those things in the game, but I just didn't expect so many people to actually think that. Overall, I think the votes here on screen reflect the game fairly well. There were a lot of players who played a good game who have been rewarded, and there's a few players who didn't have a particularly good game that have been pointed out here as well. I do agree with that comment you just put up on the screen, though. Clemmer only getting 2 votes out of the 36 responses is a little bit disappointing to me, because I thought he actually played a fairly solid game. Out of our 2 starting forwards, he was definitely the best option or the best one. And I thought Caesar might get a few more votes than he did, but I guess about 70% isn't too unreasonable.
Pull up the comment here. Matthew McNally on Facebook said, "Good to see Charlie getting some love. Deserves better from us fans." You did mention him there, as I can't remember what episode. I think it was when Charlie was coming back into the side. But I said that the fan base does really underrate Charlie and what he does for this team. I think just because he's not 6'8" and can do Olympic high jumping, the fan base don't see it. I think people are starting to come around, and even when he was re-signed for another year, people were like, "Why?" But Rob, the Forbes Ferrari, I think the fan base is starting to come around. He's put in some back-to-back decent games for us.
Well, I think we've pumped his tyres, quite a bit this year. I think he tries his hardest, but I just think Charlie Staines is one of these guys that the minute he doesn't have a game that's great, the whole fan base is going to be down his throat. I think he runs the ball hard. He plays well. His hands are really good. I mean, I wish he could have found a 15-metre flick pass behind the back just before halftime to Buller when he got that cross kick from Caesar. He did everything right. His hands were good. He scored well. He finished well. It's good to see that he's getting quite a few positive votes.
Who else in there? Adam got 30. Yeah, talked a lot about him. Lockie Galvin. Have we mentioned Lockie enough? I feel like he had another fantastic game. He looked very dangerous, getting some second phase ball out in the back line. Someone mentioned in the comments that Fainu was a bit underrated. Samuela Fainu definitely only got 72%. I thought Big Samuela looked pretty good. Like, he wasn't outstanding. Look, I guess when you're voting on this, some people might only tick literally the 3 best players in the game. Some people might go through each player, because basically all you could do is tick if you thought they played well. So we'll go to the not well, and it's Clemmer, which you mentioned, as he was tied first in the down votes. Fatape was tied with him, and they're not far behind. Stefano Utoy Kamanu. Justin Olam got a few whacks in the negative column as well. But yeah, I mean, Steph, Rob, is there a bit of, do you think he was bad in this one, or is there a bit of saltiness with the whole situation going on?
Look, I don't want to knock Steph too much, because he has had a lot of good games for us this year. But there were certainly 2 key moments where he wasn't covering in defence, and they scored tries off his poor defence. So as Aaron said, he was probably, I don't know if he was much worse than Clemmer, but out of the 2 props here, I'd say he was probably a little bit worse, although Clemmer's hands were pretty poor as well. Other than the props guys, I thought our bench wasn't great, to be honest, but most of the boys tried. I mean, it's just, you can't blame fans for, saying someone's bad if they're missing tackles or dropping balls. And especially in key moments, you've got to watch the hard work. I know there's a lot of hate for Bateman, but I also know Bateman made a lot of yards and did a couple of nice bits of ball playing. But again, his lack of discipline and giving away penalties, it just hurts not only our team, but his reputation with our fan base.
So Benjamin Barrett on YouTube suggesting if Taylor May's not found not guilty to his slider contract under his nose. 2 words, Ben.
No.
Fuck no. No, thank you. Don't want that dead shit at our club. No, thank you. Right, on to the 3.
Far away from our club.
That's 2 out of 3, Ben. 2 out of 3. I don't know what he's done off the field, to be honest. I haven't kept up to date with his personal life, but in terms of what he does in attack and defence, he's easily top 10, centre backs in the game. Like, he can play, but I just hope he doesn't end up at another club that forgives a person for whatever indiscretion they've done, and we bear the brunt of it. But hopefully he goes to England and he doesn't play against us. But he's hard to stop, and he's a great defender. So. Yeah, if it was just on football ability, but obviously we're trying to pick people at the club on their culture and their character and what have you. So, it sounds like from Josh and Aaron that he must have done something really bad that I'm not aware of. So
it's with the courts, just like the Canyon Arrow. It's a matter for the courts. So we'll leave it there. Google it, I guess, because don't want to get
guilty until proven innocent, right?
Yeah, I know, but there's just other things that he's done, like what he's written on social media, and he's just.
Okay, well, I'm not aware of all that, but I trust you guys.
I know we want good quality players, but we also, we don't. I don't want that at my club. 3, 2, 1. So, who are your 3, 2, 1s for this one?
So I gave my 3 points to Appy. No surprise there. I think he led the team around the field pretty well again. He was there in attack, defended quite well. Obviously, is more normally going to miss a few tackles, and that happened again. But his leadership, we'd be struggling without his leadership and his experience. He's a big part of the reason why we've made the improvements as well. Then I gave my 2 to Buller. I thought it was one of his best games for the season as well. Played bloody beautifully. And I gave my 1 point to Fanua Bolle because, like Rob said before, probably one of his best games for the club. A little bit underrated. I just struggled trying to decide whether I was going to give him my 2 or my 1.
Yeah, good point from Emmanuel here. How Appy got overlooked in Origin. But, good for us. Rob, you got the same 3, but slightly different order.
Yeah, I've got Appy, man of the match. Honestly, guys, I've run out of superlatives. I've used them all up in the last year and a half for Appy, so he got the 3. I gave Bolle my 2 just because I thought it was his best match for the club. 1 try, 1 line break, 17 runs, 160-odd metres, 7 tackle breaks, 21 tackles, none missed. It was very hard to split him and Buller, and obviously, like during Buller, a try assist, a line break, two line break assists, 19 runs, 181 metres, 4 tackle breaks, saved a couple of tries, still going to the end, scored a try into the post at full time, got the same game multi up. Love him.
Fun little tidbit about Appy Coruscant. Today, my son, I bought him his first ever footy cards, open up the packet. I said, hopefully we'll get Tigers player. I'm like, who's that? And he's like, Appy. He recognises Appy from a foot. It's his first packet of footy cards, and we've got Appy Coruscant in it. So it was a good little dad moment today. But saying that, in your vote, it was Fanua Bolle with 3, Dream Bull with 2, and a little Charlie Staines. I say little, he's about 4 inches taller than me. He got the 1. So that means Appy, he's pushed out a little bit more in front. He's on 58.5, Lockie on 48, Samuela on 29, and Dream has jumped Steph into 4th with 27.5. So it's still a bit of a 2-horse race. I don't think Samuela or Dream can catch Lockie. Look, Lockie needs 1 good game, and Appy a quiet game. I guess it can turn it around when you're getting a maximum of 9. Long way to go, but Appy Coruscant and Lockie Galvin, definitely our best so far this year. Righto, stats man, what have you got for us?
So this game obviously was first versus last, and I wanted to have a look to see if there's much of a correlation between number of players used by each team for this season, and like consistency with squad, meaning better season and obviously better players and more experienced players. And yeah, so this is what I found. So far this year, the Storm have used 27 players in their 16 games. They've used 14 backs and 13 forwards. Compared to us, we've used 33 players, 18 backs, and 15 forwards. So we've had a lot more players play. 16.
18?
So we played 16 games.
33 players. So
33 players.
2 new players per game. Well, I guess you have 17 in the first game.
But,
yeah. But yeah, double the amount of players per game. That's
I broke it down a little bit more as well. So having a look at players, so out of the 27 Storm players, they've had 3 played all 16 games so far. They've had a further 13 play at least 10, so between 10 and 15 double-digit games, and they've had just 6 players play 5 or less. As for us, we've had 4 play the full season so far, so 1 more. We've had 10 play double-digit games, so 3 less, and we've had 13 play 5 or less, which is 1 below doubling.
Rob,
so our lack of experience, I feel, is definitely contributing to where we are, but I do hope that that does mean good things moving forward in regards to giving the kids the experience this year, preparing them for next year, plus the signings we have coming.
Rob, the club gets a lot of slack for not having depth, but I mean, how good can the players be at other clubs out of the 28th, 29th, and 30th in the squad? Most of them, as you said, what did you say? The Storm were at 27.
27
players. Yeah, so then in the 28th, 29th, 30th contracts they don't even need. Look, it's one thing to have depth. It's when you actually have to dig into them, and that's why you can kind of give the Magpies a bit of a pass this year as well, because they're full of kids that could be playing flag, and now the flag side's starting to struggle because they're pulling players up. It's yeah, it's. I know we obviously do need a lot more depth at depth. I'm struggling with that word. Depth at the club, but we shouldn't need to use 30. What did you say? As 32?
33.
33 players in the squad in 16 games. That's insane. I mean, how much of those injuries? How much is it Benji chopping and changing? I guess as well.
A lot of it is injuries and suspensions. The vast majority of it is injuries and suspensions. And you got to remember as well, we came into the season down Adam Dewey, and he's obviously come back into the team now. So we had one of those like season-ending injuries last year that ate into half of this season, plus all of the injuries we copped early on. For example, Stafford Tyre, Junior Tupou, plus all of the suspensions we've been copping here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah. What a fucking shit year. Anyway, we keep going. Possession-wise, 54% for the boys in this one. That's pretty good. 68% completion rate. That is not good. 26 of 38 for us. 26 of 35. Not great for the Storm either. Craig Bellamy, probably not too happy with this one, really. Running meters pretty much the same. Post-contact meters pretty much the same. Line breaks 10-7 for the Storm. Tackle breaks 5 extra for us. Offloads 13-10, so pretty even there. Actually, speaking of offloads, someone mentioned Sean Bloor in the comments. Bloor, he had a couple of good offloads, but not quite. He was a little bit quiet in this one, and not too many boos. I didn't hear too many boos when he got the ball, so I'm proud of the Hill not being salty on my guy Sean. But anyway, more stats. Anything else popping out there as tackles? 83%. Even the Storm, 82% defensive efficiency. Like, they weren't that good. They scored 40 points, and they weren't really, like, fantastic in this game, were they? 39 missed tackles for the Storm. That's not great. Errors, 13-11. So, yeah, plenty of errors across the board. Penalties, we won that 7-4, did we? We got...
that's penalty. Yeah, we did too. Penalties conceded.
Yeah, conceded. Yeah, 4-7. Yep. Yeah, that always gets me too. Ruck infringements 5 for them, so we won that as well. So we did not win the sin bins, as we never do. Players stat-wise, Dream Buller led meters 181. Johnny Bateman, 176. Almost led, wasn't far off. Fanua Bole, 167. Fanua Bole only played 60 minutes too, so meters per minute probably wins that one. Post-contact meters, Johnny Bateman as well, 75. Line breaks, 2 for Charlie. Hit-ups, Johnny Bateman led in that as well. He had 18. Tackle breaks was 7. I think you mentioned that earlier in the show. Roberto Funabole. Offloads, Johnny Bateman again, tied with Lockie Galvin. Lockie Galvin keeps, I leave his picture there most weeks too, getting offloads away, which is crazy for a back. Tackling-wise, 38 for Appy with 3 missed. Samuela had 31 with 3, and Big Red 24 with just 1 missed. I guess that is 1 miss was the one on fucking Jerome Hughes when they ended up scoring. But Johnny Bateman popping up in the stats there. We haven't really pulled the Johnny Bateman conversation out yet. A lot of people bagging him in this game, but statistically looks pretty good. I don't know. Do the numbers lie, Rob?
The numbers are lying. I did mention it a little bit earlier, Josh. You might not have.
Oh, I wasn't listening.
You weren't probably listening as usual. I don't blame you. But yeah, I just think with Johnny Bateman, I think a lot of our fan base have just had enough of the ill discipline, and he's really he's going to have to score a try or set up a try or have a really hot 80 minutes to kind of get back in the fan base's favour. And just back to what Aaron said, guys, I just want to touch on this real quickly. With the 33 men we've used, we keep talking about inexperience, but it's just such a lopsided squad. Like, we've got guys like Bateman and Coruscant and Clemmer, that have probably played 600 games between them or thereabouts. And then you just go to the other end and they're just guys that have played no games. And I did mention it a few weeks ago. That's why I think it's really important that regardless of Jerome Luai coming and what, whether we offload halves, other halves or not, I think it's a must that we keep Aiden Caesar. And even if he's just as a backup for injury, suspension, whatever, but just for that New South Wales Cup team to just have a captain, a voice, someone can lead him around the field, set up structures like we do in first grade, given that he would have played first grade all year. And I'm not by any means saying his first grade career is over. He can certainly play first grade again, but don't sort of like look at developing our players for the future, and don't just say, well, look, we've got Jerome, we've got Lockie, we've got Sullivan or whoever, we've got Latu, we don't need him, let's just get rid of him. Like, let's put him in New South Wales Cup and let's have some experience down there and let these guys not be a bunch of kids not knowing how to freaking play the game. Let them have a couple of experienced guys sort of teach them and put a bit of stability into that Cup team, and then we'll be better for it in first grade when they do have to come up.
Matthew said good backup for Origin too. I would think that, does Luai get picked next year? I feel like it'll be Moses Cleary. Cleary might get injured again. Who knows? So maybe that could come into play.
I don't think Moses and Cleary get picked together. I think they play the same style.
You reckon?
Yeah, they're too much alike.
Dominating.
They're both first receiver.
Yeah, I think Madge would probably want to keep the Cleary Luai combination that's been working so well for the Panthers at Clubland for Origin, and I think if he does that, the Blues potentially have a chance at like winning a few more series together if they can manage to pull off this year's.
Well, they've made 4 grand finals in a row, so they know how to play with each other.
Exactly.
Even if they've been apart for half a season.
Yeah, probably. We'll see. Yeah, I guess we'll see come next year. I think it'll be Moses Cleary, but we'll see. Righto, here's Benji's press conference talking about the sin bin.
Yeah, it's almost like we can't get through a game without getting a sin bin, So I think they scored twice in that period, and take those 2 out, we both scored 28. So again, adversity tonight hit, but like again with our fans, they turned up again tonight, and we're behind us. But yeah, we let ourselves down a little bit.
Do you think sin bin was warranted, bench? It's probably a tough one.
Yeah, Benji, again, not happy with the sunburn there, as?
Yeah, no, I don't blame him. It's happening far too often we are still the most penalised club in the competition. I'm updating my list of sin bins that I created last week as the season goes. There were an extra 4 sin bins in this round, so the trend of a sin bin, at least one sin bin every round, continues. And yeah, like we've been sin binned, I think 13 times now. And next worst is the Rabbits with 9. So we're leading well and truly on that particular category, and it's not a category you want to be leading.
Just saw Riff checked in. That's why he's a little bit late today. He's in Peru. So muchas gracias for joining us, Riff. So that add Peru to the list. What have we got? Peru, Bali. What was the other one that we had? Someone said earlier in the show they were watching from the show or the world. Speaking of, just lost Roberto briefly. Right, here's Benji talking about Lockie and Baller.
Oh, against a pretty good outfit like them, yeah, it's up there. And again, like, you try and take the positives away from that, but the disappointment in the sheds, because everyone knows that we had an opportunity to win the game tonight, and we probably let it go a little bit. But in saying that, Dream and Lockie, obviously they're the future of our club, and they're combining really well with the great skipper who puts them in good positions, and yeah, we had our moments tonight.
Yeah, Rob, I do feel very good about, like, I know it's been so many years of shit with this club, but I think every fan, if you take it as it is, it looks pretty good with these kids. They're getting better and better every week, and we will form something come next year.
Yeah, look, I think our attack is almost non-existent in the back line without the 2 guys that Benchy mentioned. Really hoping Lockie does extend with us. That kind of makes me nervous for next year, which is why I want next year to be so good. But just good to see Buller's game developing too, like his ball playing. You know, that was something we didn't see last year. He's always around the ball in support. They're the future of the club, and well, definitely Buller is, because he's going to be there for a while. I just hope Lockie commits to it after hopefully a good start to the season next year.
Liam said on YouTube, do I have the clip of Bellamy saying positive things? He did, apparently give us a good... I don't have that clip, sorry. But, he said in a couple of years' time, we'll be a force to be reckoned with, I think was what he said. So, keep your Melbourne little paws off our squad then, please, Craig. Righto, team changes for next week as we take on the few choose through teeth. I was trying to think of old mate's name who's out for the season. You mind a bunnies, long hair, looks like Heath Ledger.
Nico
Hines. Nico Hines. They'll be without Nico Hines apparently, but
Ledger.
He looks like Heath Ledger. He looks like Heath Ledger
he has got
in 2 hands.
Yeah. Thinner version.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't see it, but okay.
Watch the movie 2 Hands. It's Nico Hines. Great movie too. One of my favorite movies of all time. Have you seen I'll pull on this a little bit. Rob, have you seen 2 Hands? The movie?
No, I haven't.
It's Brian Brown, Heath Ledger, and I'm trying to think of a name. Someone will tell me, but one of my favorite movies, Sydney, Bondi, like iconic 90s. Look it up. Highly recommend. If you're sick of the footy, one of my favorite movies of all time. Powderfinger on the soundtrack. Fantastic movie. Anyway, back to the rugby league. Any changes for this week, boys, do you reckon? I've got Alex Lobb's photo there.
Yeah, look, like I say, it's not a knock on Fata Ape. It's just, I just think we need some height on the wings. We need to be able to compete with high balls. I'm not sure if Katoa's back this week for Cronulla, but certainly Mulatalo will be on Staines. And even that, like Mulatalo's probably got a little bit of an edge in height on Charlie. But yeah, it'd be nice to have one of our wingers on the wing if we can. But it's just more from the defensive side of it. I think Fata Ape is good from, running meterage out of our own end, and he does the hard yards and he tries hard, but I just think he's not ready yet. But I do accept that it's his first season in first grade and he's getting a taste of centre and wing. It's just, if you want to win, you got to the best team available on the night. And I just thought Benji got it wrong in that case, but he's the coach and I'm not.
Yep. Has anything to add before I get my lungs ready for the comments of the week?
I thought I heard something, maybe someone said in the Discord that we could potentially have a couple of other players coming back from injuries this week, but I don't remember which ones they were. I think, Lob should be available this week, so I think he's potentially one who comes back in. Twal, another week away based on that video with Peter Musa last week. But hopefully we do get some troops returning for the back end of the year.
Righto, your comments. So if you want to leave a rant and do your player ratings, keep an eye out for it on when do we play Sharkies? It's Friday night. I'll put it up on the socials. Click the link. Super quick to fill it out. Leave us a rant. And I'll read the best ones on the show. Luke said, not sure how many set restarts and penalties we can get in their half before they were even considered to get a sin bin. However, boys played well and AD never stopped trying. Good signs against a team who is 2 wins clear on top. Cam said, this was a classic first versus last match, but please don't lose sight that we managed to score 20 plus against the Storm. That is something, I believe it was the second highest score against the Storm this year or something, they said in commentary.
Yeah, that rings a bell.
Yeah, that is something to be proud of. I've noticed the fan base turning toxic online. That's where you need to go. Join the Patreon and go on our Discord. Not one bit of toxicity in
exactly.
Just keep the faith and look for the wins, even in the losses. We have a long way to climb, and carrying on like a dickhead online is dumb and not helping anyone. There are plenty of dickheads getting around, not lying there. Tom Lyons, us included. Tom Lyons said, Clemmer got to go. I'd bring Porter back in happily. People love Ruben Porter. He's getting some fans. Would also have Alamalo or Lolii on left edge. When AD was out there, we could get away with the size mismatch. But with Olam there, we struggled to contest anything. Alamalo would be my pick. Gary said we were the better team, just stupid errors. The sin bin lost us the game. Benji's team selections are awful. Stuart said improvements all around. Another bad sin bin call pretty much robbed the Tigers of a potential upset win. Tigers 28 points conceded, 13 versus 13 is still too much, but 28 points scored against the Storm is their second highest. They are Stuart just confirmed what I was trying to think of before. Steve said, I think the coaching staff cost the team a chance of victory. Poor team selections coupled with not utilizing interchange players to full potential was telling when comparing to Bellamy's. Team play enterprising with the ball, which is very encouraging. However, the simple missed tackles that led to most tries was very meek. Kai said Buller had his best game in first grade. If Stefano wants 800K a year, he better pull his head in and start showing up against good teams. We just need to keep showing up each week and trying to build a platform for next year. Troy Abach said, cut and paste from last week's comment, refs are so inconsistent. Appy gets laid all over and gets told to get up. Storm go down the other end and we do a dominant tackle and they get a set restart. It's just a joke. Steph needs a rest. He's mentally drained. On a positive, our attack looked a lot better. Kat said, I'm so angry at Steph. Allowing the Melbourne play to... We didn't mention this, actually. Allowing the Melbourne play to get under his skin when we were sheer meters from the try line with all the momentum. Sure, we got the ball back, but Melbourne had the chance to group reset. They ended up getting the ball and scoring. I'm not saying we would have won or even scored from that set, but the momentum completely shifted from then on. We all know we need the momentum. We can. I just think the player do better, push them off if they're holding, absolutely. But to carry on with pushing and shoving when you're so close to the line is selfish, dumb, and unforgivable. Definitely, we didn't mention that. So great observation there, Kat. Josh Burnell said almost 30 points against the competition leaders and could have won. We were really building something here. Crand said pick the young guys and get the experience into them. Clement passed it as well as Bateman. Would rather a powerful second roller running off his half. Clement too slow. Steph seems disinterested. Have to pick wingers on the wing. Our spine is going awesome. Add some young, fit, fast forwards, and we really have something to work with. Luai and Taruva coming over. Finally seem to turn a corner. Just have to be patient with these young lads. Adam said 3 games in a row, Stefano didn't run over 100 meters in the game. Once every 5 games he does. Not worth 800K. Tigers should withdraw their offer and re-sign Bole. And that's it. Our tips on the weekend. Oh, I got through. I threw some Hail Marys last weekend and they failed. Obviously, the West Tigers as well. How'd you boys go? You got tipped better than me. I tipped the Eels stupidly.
A tough round. Very tough round.
Sharks, yeah, Titans beat the Sharks. So yeah.
I actually ended up changing my tip to the Tigers after I heard that Pappenhausen and Farlongo were potentially out because it was double points down at Ermington. So that one cost me, but I still got 6 overall, which is still pretty decent.
Rob Stradamus, yeah, if you want to have a bet on the footy, head to westtigers.com.au and click the purple button, sign up for Chase Bet, and send them a little DM. The guys, they're great. Had a few punts with them and on the Tigers game and had a little win on Saturday night, which was nice. But think about your choices. If you need gambling help, 1-800-858-858. New South Wales Cup. I didn't see any of this because obviously it was over at Henson Park and I was going to the first grade. They went down 32-24. They were down 20-6 at half time. So it looks like they came back a little bit in the second half. Josh Velarde got a double. Alex lob. I did say the lob try. MBWT put it up on, well, someone put it up, the video of him leaping up and scoring, which was quite ironic. I sent it to you, Rob.
You did.
Walking into the game, and
thanks,
because you were saying how this is before the game. You were saying how can we put Fatape on the wing, and literally Lob scored a try like that. But anyway, in Jersey Flegg, they went down 20-16, so they've dropped down to 6 now on the table. Who makes the final? Is it top 5 in Flegg?
I don't actually know. I think it's a top 6. It might be a top 6. I'm not 100% sure though.
Right on time. Shane Tremble has sent us $10 as we hit the super chats. Improved performance again. Remember, it was first versus 17th. Without that sin bin, we were a big chance of winning. Good show, lads. Roll on next year. Thank you, Shane. Sending us a $10 cold hard cash. Really appreciate that. And everyone joining us tonight, patreon.com/WestsLife. We'll save the Discord. There's quite a few in there. We'll save them for Wednesday night's show when we have a little bit more time as we preview. But if you do want to join the Patreon, and there is a little rant channel in there that you can submit your questions or rants, and we'll read them on Wednesday night's show. So patreon.com/WestsLife, just a few bucks a month to join us in there, and we will preview that game Wednesday evening, 8:30. Yeah, any parting words as we put a lid on this one? Almost an 80-minute effort for us tonight, boys. Unfortunately, the West Tigers couldn't do the same.
You did mention it earlier, Josh, but just in case people have been working all day and haven't caught up with the news, it looks like Nico Hines has a serious ankle injury and he won't be there Friday night. There's also word, I'm not sure, I haven't heard it confirmed anywhere, but I've heard that Talakai might be out as well for Cronulla.
Wow. So he's accepted the early guilty plea for his tackle that got him sin binned.
Okay, so they got 2 outs. They're desperate. They've lost 5 out of their last 6. So hopefully we can put a good showing. I'm never confident against anyone, but they're going to have a few outs. Although their replacements in the halves will still do a job. And to be fair, Nico's been out of form, so they might actually go better without Nico Hines there. So it'll be interesting to see what teams they name, what the lineups look like, and very interested in what our lineup's going to look like tomorrow night.
I feel like we've got a pretty good history at Shark Park too. From memory, it's a good. I don't mind Shark Park. It's one of my favorite places. Maybe because 2005, it was such a good game in 2005 when we won there, and there was a Robbie Farah hat trick as well. We won't mention that. Righto. Yeah, join us again on Wednesday evening. I think we'll have a special guest lined up, a debutant coming on the show. I mean, talking off air, a Sharkies fan to come on and tell us their side of the fence. Yeah, but thank you to everyone who joined us and the thousands of you that join us both on the YouTubes and the audio podcast. Thank you to all of you who joined us tonight on the live stream as well. Join us 8:30 on Wednesday night. Any final words, boys? We're done. Ready to go?
You might get upset with me, Josh, if I mention this one right at the end of the show. I should have mentioned it earlier, but you never mentioned Justin Olam tonight.
Did we not? A few people in the comments did.
Okay, well, look, I've heard from two different people now, so I'm not sure how true it is. I know Benji said he's got tightness in the calf and all this sort of stuff, but we all saw that he was pretty much on one leg in the second half. They reckon he's going to be right to go this Friday, but I'm hearing that we're trying to get him medically retired. So whether
awesome.
That's... Yeah, I know. So
remember when I fucking said that we shouldn't trade at 24? All right, I'll say it.
Just see how it goes. I heard it from one person. I didn't think much of it. When I heard it from the second person, and they don't know each other, I thought, okay, well, this might have a little bit of legs. So, and it possibly would make sense given he's had that knee injury with Melbourne. Look, he's done a great job for us in the games he's played this year, but he was a passenger in the second half the other night. So, I don't know how he's soldiering on the way he is, but he is, and we love him for it. And I hope it's not true, but that's what I'm hearing. So let's see what comes of it.
Got out of back row in the prime of his career, but anyway, whatever. I'll save my saltiness and try and sleep on that one.
Get in his ear and try to convince him to come back when his Storm deal's over.
Yeah, he did only take 2 years, I think. I think it's 2 years. Anyway, all right. Get me all worked up because I'm about to hit the
I think that might be why Rob said he didn't. He thought it would.
I was going to mention, will I, won't I? Will I, won't I?
That was fucking great information. Yeah, you should have. Anyway,
because I actually thought you would have. I didn't know what news, what people were sending in terms of their comments, and I know on social media there's been a lot of bagging of Olam's second half, and I just thought you might have got a few comments on Olam, and I'd bring it up at that stage, but nothing came in about Olam, so I thought I'd better drop it on you and give you a sleepless Monday night.
Yeah, you dropped a big steamer on me there. Righto, we'll talk more about it on Wednesday. We'll see if he's named tomorrow for Teamless Tuesday. We'll talk about it more on that show. Anyway, no matter if we have to medically retire a player, we have to trade a player, we'll always love the club. Go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers. Have a good week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the WestsLife Podcast. Please follow us at WestsLife Pod on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook.com/WestsLife Pod. You can also support and take part in the show at Patreon.com/WestsLife and give us a subscribe on YouTube and turn notifications on. We'll see you again next time on another episode of the WestsLife Podcast.